But let's see what Professor Omer Moav has to say. He's, of course, an economic expert from the IDC, Herzliya. Actually, it's called Reichman University. I should know. I teach there as well. And from the University of Warwick. And he joins us from Warwick in the United Kingdom. Thank you very much for being with us. Professor Moav, you're not convinced, right? Tell me why.
No, hardly convinced. Look, many companies might find it optimal to voluntarily reduce the hours of work or the day of work, and for their own reasons. But there's a very big difference between forcing this rather than getting it voluntarily. The main argument in the Jerusalem Post article is just completely flawed. It's like a view which is an extreme Keynesian view that even John Maynard Keynes did not believe in, which is that the source of economic prosperity is increasing demand and spending. This is a popular view among non-professional economists, but the hurdle for economic development is the production possibilities and abilities, and which is human capital, physical capital, productivity, and so on. Increasing demand is perhaps a useful way of escaping a slowdown in the economy. But in normal days, when the economy is in a growth path and in which there is full employment or near full employment, to think that encouraging consumption would help. On the contrary, more consumption means less saving. Less saving means less investment and less economic growth. But of course, it will not even increase consumption, because the first thing it will do is reduce income.
I agree with you, but what if we keep income the same as it is?
I'm not hearing you, sorry.
Can you hear me now, Professor Moav? What if can you hear me? Yeah?
Yes.
I hope that you can hear me. Good. What if we keep income the way it is, because companies that have tried it report great satisfaction with their metrics? The output hasn't dropped. It has increased, actually. So you can have as much earnings and people can just work less, which means that they can be more at home with their families and do the exact same amount of work.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I mean, I'm in favor of a better world in which we could all work less and enjoy a better quality of living. But there's a big difference between that is companies that find it optimal to reduce the hours work and still maintain the same productivity. That's absolutely fine. But the suggestion is that this would be a law in Israel, and think of immediate effect, which is the public sector. So what would you do? How would you provide all the same services to the public with less working days? What about schools, teachers in schools,
you would have more employees, so it would be even better for the economy.
We will have to pay much more taxes. So we will have much less disposable income. And again, look, there's a very good example from France. And in fact, they tried it, and Sarkozy said this was the biggest mistake in many years.
But if you have less working hours per person, you can still have more people employed in the economy, right? It's not like there isn't enough money in the economy, especially in the public sector.
But look, the public sector's money comes from taxpayer. Let's remember that. And if the public sector wants to employ more workers to do the same amount of work, that means we will have to pay in the private sector more taxes. So we will have less disposable income. There's no magic. There's no free lunches in this. It's a very simple economic fact.
What about the fact that we just need to reduce consumption and work perhaps a bit less? What I'm trying to allude at is there is enough money in the world. It's just that 10% of the world owns 50% of the wealth on this planet. So there is enough money. Isn't the idea of a 4-day work week, one step towards dividing that wealth a bit better between people?
Again, if there's a difference between, I'm a big fan of reducing consumption, but it's an individual decision, and most Israelis, we're talking about the state of Israel, are not very wealthy. If you think of the median average, the median earner and below, these are people who struggle. So it's not that they, just live in an extremely high level of quality of living. So this is a proposal that will make their life really, really bad. It's not someone, in the top earners like myself. I could afford, less income and I will still be fine. But for most people, this would be really, really bad.
Okay. Professor Omer Moav, I could speak about this with you for another half hour, and I would love to do it at another occasion. But for now, thank you very much for your very valuable insights, and we will be discussing this, I hope, again soon. Professor Omer Moav,
thank you for having me.
Thank you.